All right, so welcome to the random situation generator. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dalton Grimes. I'm an L2 out of Fort Wayne.
I'm Renee Berry. I'm now out of Indianapolis, so new to the region.
And then helping us will also be...
Patrick.
You have a name and a place.
I was helping.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm helping too. I'm a level 2, Patrick, Fort Wayne.
Awesome.
Hi.
Okay, so in this box I have characteristics of players, such as myself and Renee and possibly Patrick. We have situations that will occur. These could be errors, gameplay mistakes, things like that. And then we have settings. So are we at a PPTQ, an FNM, an RPTQ, the Pro Tour? I don't know. We'll find that all out later. What we're going to do is we're going to send two people out into the hallway. I kind of mentioned this already. One will be a floor judge, one will be the head judge or the sanity check judge or whatever you would like to address it as. But we will be creating situations and it will be your responsibility to field the calls. So I'm going to send Michael into the hallway as one of our first judges. Michael, who would you like to go with you? John.
Oh, okay.
Haha.
I've been volunteered as junior.
I know your name, so that that kind of that's the nail in the coffin. You know me. All right. So, once they are gone.
Should I close this?
Yes, thank you. And can you remind me what your name is?
Carl.
Carl. Thank you so much.
Did we the Overheart Memorial together?
Yes, we did. I just couldn't remember. I apologize.
You can do anything. You open an Ola too?
I did
So-
a PPTQ with you.
That's what it was.
I didn't get activated.
All right, so Renee and I are going to field this one. Unsporting conduct. Fantastic. Would you like to be
Does it
player
say
A?
minor or major?
It does not.
Get it.
Artist interpretation.
Artist.
I would not like to.
You would not like to be player A? All right. Okay. I agree.
I am too
we're
nice.
Hold up.
It said we're asking for a different.
We racist.
Oh
boy.
Yeah, that's
I'm not popping that one early.
I also don't think we
Yeah.
should do it.
So,
Because that's not going to help because we did also just send 2 white males out to the hallway, so they wouldn't do anything.
yeah. All right, so we'll do this one.
Okay.
This is a looking at extra card scenario. So we both have lands that allow us to search our deck. Would you like to be player A or player B? Basically, would you like to commit the error or not?
Sure. I'll
Okay.
be player.
All right, so go ahead and search for the deck, find a fetch land, and then just make your opening 7.
So
Your profile?
So I just have to have a fetch.
Yep.
And then.
Yeah, anything else is fine.
But it,
yeah.
aren't you the one that has to?
Yeah, so I'm going to cut your deck, or one of us is going to cut the other person's deck,
Use opponent's cards.
right?
So you're the one that should
Yep.
have to have a fetch, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I was like, wait a second.
So I'm going to have a
You
search
have
land. This
to
is my
have a
standard
search
deck.
land.
So,
The only search in standard is search for his game.
Evolving.
yep. Yeah, so,
Don't forget to get your venue or what kind of event you're
Oh, yeah.
doing.
all right, so this, because this is really the only way I have to do this in these decks, is someone's going to cut a land and card's going to fall out of the library. Cool? Cool. All right, Carl, would you mind letting our judges in? We are at FNM.
Hide that.
Yep. Oh, that's a gross hand, but I'll keep it. Oh yeah, I should probably know who I am.
Yeah.
What do you mean, Dalton?
Hi. Okay, so turn 1, I'm gonna play this Evolving Wilds, and I'm gonna search for a forest. Doop, 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 doop. That's my shuffle sounds. Doop, doop, doop. Would you like to cut? Oh, hey, that's not cool.
Yeah.
Why are you looking at my deck? Judge!
Hi,
Judge.
how can I help you guys?
So-
tell me real quick, what are you?
Oh, we are at FNM. It's a 32-player FNM, and the winner gets 12 boosters.
Cool.
So Renee was cutting my deck, I know your name. Don't worry. And she knocked these out of my library, and I think she was trying to cheat and see what my deck was.
Okay. So, how are you shuffling his library?
So when you go to cut, you're allowed to shuffle your opponent's library instead of cutting. So I was just shuffling his deck for that and kind of lost control and some of the cards fell out.
Okay.
I don't know. The way she was shuffling it, it was kind of like the bottom was facing upwards. I think she was probably trying to look at my deck.
Okay. So, you have an interesting situation here. I'm pretty sure on the ruling, but I'm going to go and confirm with the head judge just to make sure.
You can be aware of that. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
should pick you up.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we're allowed to talk
so,
out loud.
for those of you who have not attended this before, if you would like to step away from the table as a judge, just announce that. That way we can still record the conversation on our camera and get that for the future. If you would like to talk to a player separately, just announce that, and the other player will stay out of the situation. Would you like to move the camera? All right, Michael and John, go ahead.
So, based on, because we were watching the match away from the table before the match, I was watching her shuffle the library. It did not look like there was any intent, and it looked like it just slipped out of her hands. So, basically, we're just going to have her reshuffle and
Is it?
cut
Cool,
again,
cool.
and just make sure nice and easy.
We got nice
Yep, make
big
sure it
cards.
plays more carefully.
Sounds good.
Awesome. All right. Now that I've confirmed with the other judge, so based on watching you shuffle, I am determining that you had no intent of actually dropping his cards, and it looked like they just actually slipped out. So what we're gonna have you do is we're just gonna have you reshuffle off
Wait,
the cut
you saw
again.
that happen?
Well, we were standing right over.
Oh,
over here.
well, then why didn't you come and fix it? Why did I have to call a judge?
Lost for words at the moment.
Perfect.
You can time out if you want and ask questions.
Yep.
Probably shouldn't have said that as that. So instead, based on the knowledge of how Magic players tend to shuffle their libraries, I'm going to determine no intent to try to look at certain cards of your opponent's library, and what we're going to do is we're going to have you just go ahead, reshuffle, offer the cut again, and then we'll move on from there.
Okay, but now she knows cards in my deck. This is game one. That's really not fair. Can I just see like 3 cards from her library?
No, because it was an accident, there's no intent there. It's a complete accident, so all we can do is now just move forward and move on.
All right. Got it. So we just shuffle?
Yep.
Okay. Cool. All right, we'll stop there. I like that. That was pretty good. Do we have any feedback from anyone else? Go ahead, Carl.
You sounded a little bit like, you sounded kind of judgy. Like, not like I am judgmental of you guys, but you sounded very like I am being serious right now. And at like an F&M, I would try to be just very familiar and very friendly.
Okay.
And a little bit less like I am making the decision that she was not attempting to, just like, I don't think that that's what was happening. If that was, then like, we'll leave to move forward.
Yep.
Sweet.
Yeah, you can't get bogged down in every little thing. But yeah, just keeping the scenario in mind. And that's obviously harder to do here when you're not actually in the setting, but
Yeah.
definitely.
One thing that you can say is if, for instance, in the situation where he said, well, if you've seen it, why did I have to call you over? Well, you are allowed to have players, as long as both players can come to an agreement before they need to call you over, it's perfectly fine. For instance, if he said, oh, this is just regular REL, I just need to shuffle my deck back up, please refrain from doing that again, that's perfectly fine. Because this is just regular REL. By the way, I timed you guys.
Yeah.
Just about 3 minutes.
Really good.
Yeah.
In fact, I do want to touch on your point. So I was at Atlanta recently, and I was judging the top 8 in the Atlanta Open on coverage in the finals. 3. This exact thing happened. Players fixed it, moved on. Like, we're not going to stop coverage and, like, you definitely need to tell anybody. They fixed it. Like,
No.
it's not a huge deal. They both cool. Let it go.
Yeah,
did
it,
kind of. You could have made the comment that like I was on my way here when you called judge, because he did just kind of call it and not even
Oh,
give
yeah.
me really a chance to respond to it.
Mhm.
So I just stopped what I was doing because he called judge. So
Ah.
Michael, do you feel that was handled well?
Yeah.
Okay,
Pretty good.
awesome. Very nice, you two. Congratulations.
Patrick had something.
Or Patrick.
There's one piece of additional line of questioning if you're on to pretty much appease his side. If you're not paying close attention to them when this happens, ask to see how they shuffle. Physically ask them to shuffle. That way you have that idea of how are they shuffling, were they trying to gain any knowledge.
Okay.
And you can ask the opponent to like verify, yeah, that's how they were shuffling.
Cool. Great.
Awesome.
Very cool. Thank you very much. All right, so John and Michael, why don't you two go ahead and pick 2 other people? Send them out into the hallway. Point and go.
Torrance.
Nope, Torrance is taking time.
Oh, okay.
He's active.
Aaron. And your name? Excuse me. Carl.
Fantastic. Aaron and Carl is going to be good. Let's make it really, really difficult for
Spice
them.
this one up.
Yeah. Maybe we should do that first one.
Spicy meatball.
at first,
A third player is
still
in the
doesn't
game. Wait, what?
So
Oh,
actually,
they're both the
so
same.
no, so what you can do for the first one is instead of just saying like a race thing, just calling immediately for a separate judge. I don't want your opinion. Just I want somebody else's opinion.
What about that one?
I want the most correct opinion in the room.
Yeah, because we actually had that happen with one that I had to take with John, where
Yep.
the
Oh,
first thing
yeah.
that happened is no, not you. Give me the other judge.
Congrats, here's your unsporting conduct.
You
I'll
get
go
to
get
play,
this other
right?
judge after I make my ruling.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds great.
That's
I
how you
like
get
Here's
this
my
one.
response to
It's
that.
fine.
Yeah.
All right.
Here's
So,
your unsporting conduct, here's my ruling. Here, let me get the judge.
this scenario is that we're just gonna have a casual something that becomes a rule. They're gonna give a really easy ruling, and then I'm gonna whisper biased asshole as they side with Renee on this. Yeah,
Is there like... Okay, no, I actually want to just...
What event are
I
we
want to see
at?
how this plays out.
we are going to be at we're just gonna have fun.
Yeah.
GPT semifinals. Those don't exist. PPTQ finals.
That's good enough.
That'll work.
Pro Tour though.
Yeah, you have floor judge though.
Pro Tour
No
move.
floor judge. So you know what to keep going.
So
He needs to have 2 judges on the card. So on the first one.
One could be a head judge, or you're right.
You can still do biased asshole with
RPTQ.
multiple judges.
There you go.
You can put an S on
That
it.
works perfectly.
So
See,
this-
I'll-
Yeah, just...
This
Just-
doesn't work very well with our scenario, though.
Pick a new one.
I
Let
was
it out,
like,
an angle.
this one doesn't work with that.
Oh, so yeah, the way you look at them is that's your identity, that's your behavior. Yes is, did you do it on purpose? So like, did you make the mistake? If you're player B in this is the only line you look at.
Okay.
And then maybe.
Well, that's why I was like, I can't be thinking you're a cheater if you're the person who is.
Both players get unsporting conduct.
Yep.
Like, that seems
Both
bad.
players
Okay,
pull the
so
same
what
card.
dumb ruling do we need? So
We're trying to. That's why we're here.
Oh, I'm so proud.
let's do
And I have
yeah, what
You can't see them through like...
is there anything good? Okay, while Mikado, get a mountain and planes out, swing, and I'll be like, I'll take 2. And you go, no, it's 3.
okay.
And I'll be like, but you never said that.
Oh.
So I need a mountain.
Yeah.
Are they gonna be
You can just take those
Your
bottom
foundry
2
stomping
cards.
grounds. Yep.
It used to be. Got it.
Yeah, those 2 cards.
Yep.
stomping grounds?
So I was a part of that for like a couple weeks.
And that's what's part of my opener.
I like-
Yep,
I like
and then
to
just,
do,
yeah, random
like,
cards.
several passions at home.
So this is going to be a really easy card. Warning, content not safe for work.
Are we good to go?
Yeah, I think so.
Good?
Yep.
So do we need life totals?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead?
Since I'm gonna be taking.
Yeah. Thank you.
Where are we?
Cool.
RPTQ finals?
What's our REL?
These are the finals of an RPTQ.
Uh-oh.
Thunder.
Like the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Finals is too high.
Finals,
Yeah.
quarterfinals because you know quarter semis depending on turnout.
There's only one
All right,
qualification.
you're on the play. Go ahead.
So I'm gonna play this stomping ground.
Sure.
Shock.
Yeah, 18.
And then I'm gonna play this wild cuddle.
Yeah, you got it. It's a 2/2, right? Because you have a mountain.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I'll draw. Let's do Hinterland Harbor. Your go.
I'm gonna play Sacred Foundry.
Okay. 2. Yeah, you got it. You got a shot.
I'm gonna attack with my wild cuddle.
Okay, I'll take 2.
3.
Well, you didn't say you had a planes.
I have a plains and a mountain. Well,
But
and
you
a
never
mountain
said there was a
plains.
planes, so I thought it was 2.
Judge.
Yeah. What's going on here, guys?
So, I played my Sacred Foundry for turn, and when I attacked with my Wild Cuddle, he's saying that I had to say that I had a plains for it to be 3.
Okay,
Because
sure.
I had the mountain
Yeah,
before.
I
but
asked her last turn if it was a 2/2, and she said yes.
Because it was.
And now she's saying
Yeah.
she's attacking for 3.
So last turn, when you asked her if it was a 2, that's turn she just
When I
had
just
stomping
had-
ground and
Yeah,
play, right? And
she
the
did.
Sacred Foundry wasn't that time. So what I'm hearing from you is that you thought that she communicated the power and toughness on Wild and Coddle incorrectly to you, or like kind of concealed something.
Yeah,
Is
she
that
didn't say
approximately
swing for
right?
3. She just
Right,
said
she
attack.
just said to attack with Wild and Coddle. So the power and toughness on the Wild and Coddle is derived information.
Uh-huh.
She hasn't lied to you about that because she hasn't at any point told you something that wasn't correct. When she told you that it had 2 power and toughness, that was correct. And then when
Okay.
it became 3, she didn't tell you at some point that it was still 2.
Well, yeah, shouldn't she
So-
have to announce that?
No, she isn't required to announce that. That's derived information. And while she can't lie to you about that information, she isn't responsible for letting you know that that information has changed.
All right, biased
So,
asshole.
yeah, I have you. I'm sorry, what was that?
I called you a biased asshole.
All right, well, I think that
You're
I'm
just
gonna.
treating her differently because she's a woman. And
That's not what
Clearly
happened. What's
that's-
happening here, and I would like to stop this game for a minute so that we can have a conversation. Is that all right?
yeah, sure, fine. Would you like to time out for a sec?
Yeah, I need a timeout.
Okay,
So-
go ahead.
I went away from the table. I thought we were going.
This conversation outside.
So I would probably like when I'm gonna come back in here.
Okay.
I want to we're stopping your game in progress.
Yeah.
That's gonna hold.
Let's say, let me know when you're back in character.
I am.
Okay.
We're back in character. Your game has been stopped in progress.
Yeah.
Whatever time is on the clock, I don't want you to think about that right now. I want us to have a timeout.
Okay.
I want to give you a second to calm down if you want to, and if you're ready, then I
I
think
don't
that we should
need
have
to
a
calm
conversation.
down.
Okay,
I'm just
then-
trying to play Magic here.
All right. I am not showing any preferential treatment. I'm just going by what the tournament rules are.
Okay.
Your opponent is not required to give you information that she hasn't given you. Everything that she's done is correct here. I'm only following policy. It's precedent, and if you believe that what I'm doing here shows bias, then that's a mistake that we need to address.
Well, hell yeah, it is. I want to talk to the head judge.
Okay, I will bring in the head judge then.
All right.
Is my head judge still here? Hey, what's going on? Okay,
You want-
So, active player attacked and while the call, the opponent assumed that it was still a 2-2. It was not. There was derived information. Sorry. The opponent assumed that there was that the power and toughness on it was still a 2-2, and it was not. And he's upset about that. I explained that it's
Sounds
derived information.
pretty straightforward.
It's pretty straightforward.
The
Yeah.
active player didn't represent the power and toughness as anything, just attacked.
Yeah, they just attacked. So everything that the active player did here was fine. The problem comes when I explain the situation. The non-active player
Okay.
is calling me a biased asshole
Oh, okay.
And believes that I am showing preferential treatment
Okay.
because his opponent's a woman.
Okay.
He asked to speak to the head judge.
All right. Great. All right. Hi, everybody. Let me make sure I understand the situation correctly
Are
here.
you talking to us together?
I'm talking to both of you together.
Okay.
This player here attacked with a wild Nakatl, and the power and toughness was not announced, and then there was a disagreement over what it was. And that original ruling sounds like it was handled to satisfaction, where 3 was the correct amount.
Not to
and
my satisfaction.
then you had some other comments. So, do you have anything to add before? Nope. Okay, so come on over here and let's talk.
Okay.
Over here off to the side.
All right.
Now, we're off to the side.
This is out of character. Would I be like with you?
Why don't you? You're gonna stay over here. Go ahead.
part of this call.
Go ahead and sit here.
Yeah,
And you and I are going to walk away. All right, great. So my floor judge said that you were a little upset about the ruling. Do you want to tell me what happened?
Yeah, so she had a wild in college, she played with Stomping Ground. So
Yes.
I asked her if it was a tutu. She said, yeah.
Yes.
So when she went to combat the next turn, she played a Sacred Foundry pre-combat main.
Okay. And the Sacred
attacked
Foundry
with
is
it.
a plains.
Yeah, but she never said anything. So I
Okay.
didn't realize that there was a plains on the field. And I might have played differently if I'd known.
Okay. Well, let's look at the oracle text of Wild Nakatl to address your original concern. It just simply gets +1/+1 so long as the statement is true. It is not a trigger. It's not something that needs to be announced. It's something that either is true or is not true. And the text in that card is going to be derived information. It's up
Okay.
to you as a skilled player to make the determination of that. Now, if she had given you the number, you could go rely on that number to be true because players cannot misrepresent information.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand
Okay.
that, I guess.
Now I want to talk about the interaction you had with my floor judge immediately following.
Okay.
Why don't you tell me about that?
Well, I felt that he'd ruled in her favor because I'm a man and she's a woman, and I didn't think that was okay.
Okay. Could you tell me the exact words that you used?
I called him a biased asshole.
Okay. That's not acceptable behavior at Magic tournaments.
Okay. I don't think
Insulting and being
preferential
aggressive
treatments-
towards a judge in this manner, this is unsporting conduct.
Okay.
And this infraction is going to carry a match loss penalty.
But this is the finals.
Yes, this penalty will apply immediately.
But it's the finals.
Yes, this penalty will apply immediately. I will be assessing you a match loss for this penalty, for this infraction.
All right. Great. Cool.
In the future, I need you to treat judges with respect. I need you to treat your opponents with respect. Everyone is welcome here. I cannot stress this enough. Okay? Rulings in the future may go in your favor. They may go against you. No matter what it is, they will go by the rules and by policy. So you can expect a consistent ruling from an F&M to a PPTQ to a Grand Prix to a Pro Tour. You can expect consistency. Okay?
All right.
Do you have anything more to add?
Nope.
Okay, have a great day. Thanks for coming out to see us, okay? I'm really happy you came to our event.
I'm not. All right.
I understand that you're upset. Okay? Let's not go any further. You've had a great day. Right now, you're not being disqualified, so currently you have finished second in this tournament, which is going to entitle you to certain prizes.
Okay.
With a match loss, you're second. Please don't go any further with this, because as of right now, you still have prizes. You want to come on up here to the tournament organizer? I'll walk with you.
All right. Great. Let's go.
All right, let's come on up here to see the tournament organizer.
Cool.
I like
All right.
Chick-fil-A spirit.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
It's my pleasure.
It's my pleasure, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
Say
Awesome.
that.
The end.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Lawrence.
So, one thing that I've always been told, and I understand, is that you should never tell people to calm down in any regard.
Okay, yeah.
9 times out of 10, you're just going to make them say, "But I am calmer," or they're going to be somehow retaliatory. And it's easier to say, "I want to give you a moment to decompress," or to think over what's happened. The only thing I might say to Aaron is I would probably talk to him about being polite to judges before you tell him he's getting the match loss, because at that point he just doesn't care anymore. He's probably just going to be like, yeah, cool, whatever, judges are dicks. He's probably just like, yeah, I'm going to give them a lot of respect in the future. He came in at 7.5 minutes, which, I mean, considering he was getting a match loss,
Yeah, I
think
wasn't
that's pretty
concerned
fair.
about time. As soon as I heard that, I'm definitely not
Should
concerned about
I have stopped and grabbed the head judge before he requested the head judge?
No.
No.
You more or less never outright, like if you have delivered the same ruling 3 times and someone is still saying they disagree with it, you say, well, okay, I have given my ruling. If you would like to appeal, here's the appeal. You do not go get the head, like, it would be reasonable to potentially go get him in this instance because, like, a player was outright being, or maybe, like, signal to someone else, like, can you go get the head judge for me?
Right. At the point that he uses the term biased asshole,
Yeah.
do I then see this is something that's going to need to escalate?
So that actually tails me into my next point.
Go ahead.
The point I was actually going to make was you never actually gave the unsporting conduct.
Right.
And there is a ruling with what Dalton did. It is unsporting conduct. It is a match loss. Like, obviously, depending on the level, but, like, the point is, you know, it is still unsporting conduct. There is a ruling that does need to be given there. We were actually discussing this, I can't remember if it was before or while you guys were in the hall, but it's not relevant. The point is you do still give that ruling, and then person will probably fire off the appeal, and then you go get the head judge if they aren't already there. And then, but like, you deliver that ruling, and you say, well, so there's no penalty here, but there's no penalty in regards to this. However, what you did was unsporting conduct, and I'm going to assess a match loss for this. The important thing is that it's something like an RPTQ or something like that. Most likely, if you're match lossing someone, you're already checking with the head judge or another L3. So, like, there's a bit of a line there, but still deliver what you are going to deliver.
Yep, we'll go Spencer next then.
Yeah.
So I disagree with you. It's 100% okay if he's like, if you're like, okay, so this is the ruling. He's like, no, that's not how it works. And you say, okay, this, and go over it again. At that point, you can say, all right, you don't believe my ruling. I can go get that judge. That is a very, very viable line of play or line of action because you don't want to sit there and delay the game further if he's not going to believe you.
That's more or less what I said, minus
Sure.
one instance.
But as soon as he says biased asshole, say, all right, cool. I need you to calm down. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go grab the head judge. I have to talk to him about something. Please, I'm going to grab another judge, have them sit there, and have them do nothing. As soon as that happens, this is a thing that you have to have approval for.
Yeah.
So immediately, your reaction should be go get the head judge because he's going to want to know about this, and he's going to want to sign off on this.
Patrick.
So with unsporting conduct, I'm assuming this was a major.
Yeah.
Golden major.
There's one other thing you want to keep in mind. There's an upgrade path. What did the player that conducted the unsporting conduct show remorse at all? Was it done
not
with
a bit.
malicious intent?
Did not appear to.
No remorse.
At that point, it's a DQ.
Do not pass go. Do not click the prices.
Malicious intent, no remorse, or offenses repeated.
Which he
DQ and removal.
said it
Said multiple
twice,
times.
Fair.
and then twice or once to you. Like,
I mean,
Well,
that's
I mean, he was
Every-
clarifying what he
Yeah,
did.
to him was
I mean,
fine.
he only did it once,
No,
but he
but-
was
I wanted to get him to
obviously
admit
not-
it because the
Yeah.
thing
He's
is,
attempting to
He
make
said
that
it
my
again.
line of
Then
questioning
then
was
that's what he said, and he just blatantly told you what he said,
Right.
Yeah.
which is a
yes.
That is a fair point.
My line of questioning was, you better tell me exactly
Yep.
what happened, or else now you're lying to
No
a
problem
judge.
with that.
And honesty, and the honesty factors into what my line of thinking was in going with a match loss, UC major. That is interesting, though. It is
Then
possible.
the no
And you know what?
remorse
Like,
is the
honestly,
apologizing to the judge is
one-
what I want to see myself.
That's a good point. I'll think about that. I honestly, like, one more comment and it was going there. That's why I like stopped you.
Sure. Yeah, I think that was a really good job of taking control of that situation and wrangling it in. You weren't giving me the opportunity to go further.
Yeah.
And that is really well done. If a player is going over the top, then you
Yep.
need to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah, I've given the consistency speech to a lot of players who've been salty about a call not going in their favor, and I've had a lot of success with it. almost word for word what I told you. I don't know.
Yeah,
a lot of made a lot of players.
A
A lot of players like settle down when I tell them that. It's like, oh, okay, yeah. It doesn't matter what judge is in front of me. I would have gotten the same ruling everywhere. At least I'd like to think if I got it right.
Anything you'd like to add, Carl?
No, I wasn't expecting to.
Yeah, I think the second he said the bad word at you,
Yeah.
just like I would just full stop.
Yep.
And the other thing is, what they were saying. I've had players who are clearly not happy about my correct ruling, and I see like they're about to argue, and I just straight up offer, blah 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 blah. This is my ruling. Would you like to appeal?
Yeah.
And the judge is always upholding those.
The key thing is
Like,
not
right.
to like give your ruling and then say if you disagree with this you would like to appeal. Like if they start like kind of pushing back a little bit, that's more or less what I think Spencer and I were trying to say was, if they start pushing back, then like you can explain it to them from till the cows come home. They're not going to agree with it.
Right.
At that point, you just offer the appeal, and then obviously.
Yeah, you say this is where I am. If this
if
is
you
not
disagree.
acceptable to you, then you can have an appeal. Either way, I'm going to have a conversation with the head judge.
Yeah, the thing is not to undermine your own authority.
Right.
You are certified for a reason. You are in this tournament you're judging this tournament for a reason. It is okay to both offer the appeal, but also not undermine yourself.
All right, fantastic.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Very good feedback.
All right.
Believe it or not, that's easier with the actual players who are being aggressive versus a massive audience of people inspecting every single thing you say.
Yeah, I also it catches you more off guard when this is such a calm, peaceful setting.
Yeah.
It's a real
So I do have one of this feedback. Actually, in the interest of giving complete feedback, I thought you handled the call very well. Obviously, up until the point that they threw things off the rails,
Right.
intentionally. But I thought you handled the call very well, and you were very good in your explanation.
Thank you.
It's important to list everything.
Yeah, your initial call was perfectly fine.
I thought
that
that
was
was the
textbook.
actual situation.
So, Carl and
Andrew,
Andrew, why don't you go ahead and pick two people, send them out into the
Sure.
hall?
Nelson, are you here to actually play?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Pat Nelson is going to be the sanity judge, and what's your name?
Can I pass that?
No,
I'm picking him.
You can pass
Yep.
it.
Okay.
That's fine.
Pick
I know.
Nelson.
What's your name again?
Rick.
Rick. I'm going to ask 100 times.
It's okay. I'm bad with names, but I recognize faces. So I'm like,
You good with that?
I'll have to meet you.
I'll make you player A. So I'm gonna cast that off of these three.
Cast divination with 3 white mana.
Seems good.
This is on field tapped.
Smells like GRV.
Why don't your cards
Huh?
don't match the rest of your deck?
My what?
Your cards don't match.
What do you mean?
Nothing's like
These are all
having two
gold.
GRVs.
They totally
Somebody goes to cast something into a trinisphere, and then you literally don't leave, and they do it exactly again.
Love it.
Just like grab side groan.
Because they didn't have the
Go
mana
ahead
the
and get
first
some
time.
sort of field.
GRV, GRV again.
So are we doing
Bro, stop.
like
Please
rolls then?
stop.
I did it.
We don't have
I had
to.
to go
Press
get-
this button for $1 million, but someone random dies. Slams button 5 times. Dude, stop.
I had to go get somebody else to watch the table because I was on end around.
Nice.
So I had
So
to go
you
start
would
end
let it
around.
happen
Yeah,
because
it doesn't
I know that.
matter.
No penalties all weekend. His win in on day 2 of the SCG. Do 2 extra cards in 5 seconds. He got one. He was shaking and nervous, and I said, "It's okay. Don't worry about it. It's only a card. Just shuffle up." Immediately does it again. I was like, "Okay, we're stopping for a second. Take a breath."
I had a table where it went, guy forgot to discard at the end of turn.
Yeah.
So I, issued the penalty, have him discard. As I finish filling out the slip, he starts laughing. I turn around, he's like, "I did it again." I was like,
I'm
"All
gonna
right."
shuffle this one in and
Sure.
grab a different card because it's a guarantee and I want to
Shuffle.
So,
So did he finish that with that interaction, or did he give himself a penalty?
Basically.
Judge, I would like to give myself
You
a
made
penalty.
these guys get up so I can steal their
Yeah.
seat,
I
right?
was gonna say, you don't need to just pick
There
a
we go.
board state. All
I have
right.
these guys because and they're tapped
Welcome to
because
Legacy.
I attacked you with
I
them.
would like to
We're playing
Sure.
Legacy. There's a death
Preference
right
I
shot
don't
in
want.
play.
Why? Yeah.
Why? Why not?
Playing Legacy, and this idiot was vexing devil in a 75.
One mana deal 4 seems pretty good.
Okay,
Yeah, Legacy.
that seems
actually.
Your
very
flames
off
actually
topic
sounds like
from
a little
that,
strong.
but okay.
Yeah. What?
This seems very off from this.
Well, in that case,
I'm gonna
take
be
that
a
one.
casual player who's cool with, and then going to
So this
interrupt
scenario,
someone.
player A
Yeah.
appeals to the head judge before responding. Judge can deliver a ruling.
Okay.
I commit a gameplay error, mistapping mana.
This makes a little more sense.
Okay.
'Cause now
What's
I'm
your
role
what's
playing.
your event?
Our event is not a GP
catches.
tour. It is RPTQ round 2.
I'm gonna play X, so I'm just gonna.
Can I make sure this is an F and
Okay.
M?
Are we good to go?
I probably shouldn't have Soul Ring in the hand. That seems like a bad idea. 'Cause
You have
that's
gold
not-
cards in your hand, but your deck is a different.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
White cards with the deck screen black.
It, everything makes sense. Life is perfect.
Playing Rockless Rock.
We're all good. Nothing is wrong. Don't worry.
Everything is fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing
Um,
good ever goes in this box.
Okay. So, I think that I need to learn how to tap manas. Let's see.
Because the way this works, is Dalton
That's
always
fine.
the person who's the jerk?
No.
Okay.
No.
Not this
I am.
Well,
I mean,
it's rando rolled into him being the one being the jerk, as far as I know.
Yeah. Basically. All right. What does my deck need?
I will say this man
It
is
needs
delightful rounds.
that. Fantastic. And then I
No.
can do.
You can't
well,
have correct mana.
I know. That's the point.
Plays bonfire that taps only on ones.
Okay, so you have a way to play it. You just
Yes, I do.
are
That's what I was
tapping
trying
it
to figure
wrong.
out.
Okay.
It's bonfire that
Okay, let's go ahead and get the call. If someone wouldn't mind opening the door.
Don't roll loud.
A double bite. Oh wait, this needs to be a mountain.
That's what
There
I
we
was
go.
confused about. I was like,
Yeah, well,
you
I have to
can
cast another spell.
Okay.
Right, so... Gosh, can I magic right? Yeah, I think I can. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna play Myth Realized. Okay? And then I'm gonna cast Supreme Verdict to destroy all creatures, and I'll get a counter here.
You didn't
don't-
have blue. There's
Oh,
there's
I-
blue in this spell.
Oh, you're right. I should have tapped white, blue. Yeah, Judge. I don't know. Can we? Is that something we can rewind?
Hi, my name's Rick. What seems to be a problem today?
So, my opponent cast Myth Realized off of this land,
Okay.
and then now he wants to play the Supreme Verdict.
Yeah,
But
I messed up.
he
I
doesn't have
accidentally used my white sword.
Whoops. Well, he needs white.
Or
Right.
yeah.
Anyway,
Whoops.
so
Okay. So, which one's the active player? You?
Yeah, it's my turn.
It's your turn.
I
Okay.
tapped this for Myth Realized.
Okay, you
and I
tapped
didn't
this, you cast
realize
Myth
I tapped
Realized,
out of
and
blue.
you tried to cast this.
Yep.
This is a pretty easy fix. What we're going to do is we're going to have you put this back in your hand and then tap your mana.
can I get the head judge? I want to appeal this.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You can wait 1 second.
Okay, so
I call another judge to watch the.
You can come over here so you can
can
talk
come
over
over.
here.
Sorry, I was going to.
What's up?
So, one of the players cast Supreme Verdict.
oh, rats. I thought I could have gotten the counter on that.
And put the card back in his hand
Okay.
and tap your mana. And as soon as I said that, his opposing player has to speak to them and has to appeal it.
Hey guys, could you walk me through what happened?
So he played this.
Yeah,
with
I tapped here
that
and
land.
played Myth Realized.
And obviously I have creatures, so then he tried to play this
Mhm.
off of, you know.
I
No-
realized
no
I tapped.
mana.
I didn't have my blue,
Wait,
and then she called. She wanted the head judge.
wait. A couple questions. So for the call, did the head judge, did my floor judge happen to completely give his ruling prior to an appeal?
No.
I didn't hear the full thing, no. He said I was going to untap these and put this back in my hand, but I don't know what was going on.
Okay, so at this point, I'm going to break away from the table.
Sure.
I'm going to pull you away from the table.
Okay.
So one of the things that interrupting a judge when they're making a ruling is not something that is very, very good. Always allow the judge to finish their ruling prior to appealing. That way, it allows them to still show a little bit of authority because they're working this event. They're here to help you guys. It also allows clarity and allows clarity for the event itself, for the game, and for the other players around. So unfortunately, so I'm going to issue a warning here for unsporting conduct. Please, from the future, make sure as a warning for unsporting conduct manner. Please make sure to allow judges to complete the rulings. And then at this point, going back to the table.
Okay.
So for the supreme verdict,
Yeah.
You've cast a card without blue mana.
Yeah.
So
I
it will be
messed
a game rule violation.
Okay.
The proper fix here was what my floor judge was trying to explain prior to an
Okay.
interruption. So we will put this back into your hand. We will
Sure.
rewind the cast of the spell, so your 4
Okay.
mana will be untapped.
So this is on tap.
And please play on from here.
All right. I can do that.
Any questions?
So I wouldn't have done that if I'd realized I was tapping out of my blue. Is it all right if I take this back? And
Unfortunately, no. You made a legal play.
All right. Okay. Well, I guess I just showed her that. Okay. Cool. We'll end there. Excellent work. Do we have any feedback, John?
So first, Rick, I love the fact that you walked up and started with your name. That was awesome, and that's something that I noticed, and I think more people should start doing, including myself. And I think that was very, very.
I do that because I don't own a name tag. So it's a lot of people can infer your name from your name tag. I don't own one, so
It personalizes you.
yeah, it personalizes me. But yeah, I don't have a name tag, so they can't just look and go, "Oh, hey, it's Rick."
Yeah. So that was very good communication skills. What you showed.
Thank you.
When she interrupted you, though, and you went to go get the head judge immediately, first stay there and say, well, hang on, I'm going to give my ruling first. Then we're going to go get the head judge, and then we're going to finish out. So
You could
that
play
would be
that one.
very good. And
See,
then
you played that
a
one.
point for Patrick as well. Very good. The only word that I wouldn't use there is authority
If you look on the sides, it's got
during
like
that
green and
explanation.
blue.
We are the last. We are the final authority. I am the final. We are the final authority.
If you look back.
Yes, but
Yeah.
the way that you put it was in order to keep their authority, that kind of sounded like a negative connotation to
Fair.
what judges do. And I mean, and that can be agreed upon or disagreed upon, but that's just something to be careful of with players. Other than that, you delivered it perfectly.
I have
Go
kind
ahead,
of a
Carl.
question. So you have to put those penalties on the match slip.
Yep.
The penalty given to this player was given away from the table, or it was explained away from the table.
Yep.
But it's going to be public knowledge because it's on the back of this match slip. Is like they're going to be, and are you going to talk to the other player and explain that penalty before like moving forward in the match, or are you just going to like let that be there, and if they have a question about it, like they can call you back over and ask?
It depends on the situation at the table.
Sure.
In my personal opinion, if they just want to keep playing, at that point they might want to. Towards the end of the match, when the match result slip finished, I'd probably be watching the general area in case they have any questions or not.
Right.
So if he finishes his match, goes to fill out the slip, and notices a W next to her name, we can go back and talk about it.
Okay.
At this point, I just want to get them playing.
Yeah. So like, don't address it until it's brought up to you.
That's what I do.
Do we have any other?
I would
Spencer,
disagree
go
with
ahead.
that approach because he witnessed her interrupt the judge and nothing happened, and if you don't explain it, he doesn't understand that. I would say, all right, so what's going on is I'm going to be giving her a warning. She interrupted my floor judge. That is not acceptable. When you ask for a judge's opinion on something or their help, make sure that they give their full ruling before anything gets appealed.
Time-wise, you were very speedy at 3 and 3 3/4 minutes.
Yeah, that's very nice. I like that a lot. Any other comments?
My only thing about what you said about leaving, I have a tendency to be confrontational because of my disability. So for me, it's easier to say it with a smile and then go get someone who can deal with it on a much more professional level if I feel slighted or something like that. So I can just avoid that. I could have continued the ruling, but if she kept interrupting, that would cause me to be upset. So I cut that short so that way she can't get more upset, I don't get more upset. I'm just like, oh sure, absolutely. You just do it with a smile and
That's a tremendous amount of self-awareness on your part, and I commend you for it.
Yeah.
I
I
think
have a
it's
dumb
great.
question.
Go ahead.
Answer.
You go ahead, you tap it, say you don't have blue, you're like, and I just say, you know what, if you call a judge over, there's some give you a game rule. Just untap, pick it back up, let's keep playing.
You can do that as two
Totally
players.
fair.
Okay.
So there's actually a section in the tournament rules that says if there is something that both players can resolve to their mutual satisfaction, and obviously they're not breaking rules, we let them. Like in that case, if she was just like, oh, just untap it and put it back in your hand, then that's fine.
Okay.
We let them do that.
Okay.
Yeah, it could even be something as seemingly random as like I accidentally drop a card in my hand and she's like, oh, well, that's not fair, and she shows me one in her hand.
Yeah.
That's not smart,
Yeah.
but it's totally allowed.
You can reveal your head.
Yes.
Exactly.
Also, ironically, if you keep in mind what the board state looked like in that specific call, she did not have double blue, or did not have triple white available.
Yeah.
He did have triple white available.
White, and one was a blue white. He had mountain,
Yeah.
mountain.
Oh yeah.
There was
He
no
only
way
had-
to
White, white.
potentially
He couldn't
cast
have
it,
passed
no
that.
matter
Yeah.
how.
He only cast one
So you
spell.
can't mistap it. You
Yeah,
cannot
he can
correct
cast
it.
one of those two.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Since the first one was a legal play and he tapped it correctly, that's
Yep.
the one that sticks.
That's
Even if he tapped
where do things go
a,
off the rails?
even if he tapped another white source for it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
play the Mithras first another white source, he still can't cast the Supreme Verdict.
He does not have triple white.
No.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Rick and Nelson, why don't you go ahead and pick two? Would you make pick
Seems like
two?
he wants to take care of something.
Awesome. That's one. And Nelson, who's the other?
There's a kind of hat back there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Spencer. Thought decline.
I can't. Sorry.
Cup set.
There's someone else in the hat.
All right.
Forget name. Apologies.
Oh, that's all right. Tyler.
All right, what are your names?
Literally stuck
I'm Mike.
Mike and Tyler?
Yep.
Fantastic. All right, we'll see you in a moment.
Stuck my hand out. And went, oh look, there's somebody at the end of it.
2,000 player GP.
Oh,
Yeah.
see now, wait, I do have a question. What was ours at? 'Cause I didn't even ask.
Now
Round
that
two,
you're-
RPTQ.
Huh?
It was around 2 RPTQ.
Yep.
Oh.
So competitive with that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I was a pro player.
It was actually
So you guys
table
didn't.
magic.
Oh, you were a pro player?
I have a point of
Which
clarification.
pro player
It's
were you?
Turner with me. I was
Your
a
hat.
pro
Actually,
player.
no.
Point of clarification for the pro player. Were you Brian Kibler?
No.
Have you ever beat Brian? Okay, real question. Have you ever beat
I
Brian
can't do
Kibler?
it.
Magic?
All right,
It
go
was
ahead
L's.
and get a very impressive
Counts.
turn 4
Why?
and pick one because I have to cast Wrath of God.
Can you see my hair?
That's all.
I got the.
Okay.
Just go to turn 4.
Straight.
Oh, okay.
Just straight
I
to
was making sure they were very
Did you give him like a penalty and then did you?
No, I went and grabbed the burgundy.
I can't have this one.
That's okay, just pick cards.
You gave him the fear
I can't have this one.
Just
One.
like let him.
Just give me one.
Oh, no Gaddock Teague?
Yeah, because then you can't cast it.
Yep.
Anyway.
Well, you don't have to put it out.
Yeah, but
She's too tempted, okay?
Yeah.
You told her to play 4 turns all at once.
you told
and
me
she's
to
gonna
play
play
4
T.
I told you to take
turns.
the
Well, you don't have to play for it. Just put out like some lands and some creatures. Give me a reason to Wrath of God.
He's like, no, no,
Or
no.
Wrath of Goku.
And it was a softball.
I'm trying to figure
I
out
need
how many
everyone's
cards
spirit
that I
here.
won't be able to.
So this is a case where we have an altar that is not approved by a head judge.
Oh.
And what's the altar look like?
So this has to be.
Letting me know that I have no notice. That she did.
She showed
I
us.
was
Good,
there
good.
five.
Yeah, just for the camera.
I was there from-
That's our altar.
Unless you tell me that she did.
I thought it did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's perfect. Alright, you need more creatures.
Whose card is that? Is that?
Just start
Just toss some creatures out.
One
Yeah.
more killing.
I did it. That was a lot of fun to paint.
Oh, you made that.
What did you alter?
That's cool.
This one?
Oh, okay.
I didn't see what card it actually.
That's
right.
That's Wrath of God.
Oh, nice.
I mean, I can definitely see
Wrath
that
of
as
God.
Wrath of
It's a
God.
problem.
Okay, great. That's what I want. All right, why don't we go ahead and get the judges
It's
in.
my turn.
Oh, okay, so we're at copy.
Yeah, we are at comp. We are GP day 1,
2000.
round 9. Or is the cut at 8 now?
It cuts at 8 now.
Yeah, so it's round 8.
round eight.
All the cookies are on the line.
Yep.
I mean, all the data cookies.
All
Am I right along my
Adjusted.
now?
Huh?
Are we good to go?
Yep. Yeah, we're good. Perfect.
I've learned this before. Let me read this real quick.
That's the one. GP
That one.
round 8.
You learned.
It goes, ooh. Level 2.
Winner makes day 2.
All right.
All right. Ooh, that's a lot of creatures. So that was 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 damage that I had last turn. So I'll go down to
11,
6.
right? Because
What?
one of them would have gotten it.
Oh yeah, you're right. So yeah, so 5. So I'll draw. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and cast Wrath of God.
Well,
Do you like Dragon Ball Z?
I mean, yeah, but what is it even?
It's Wrath of God. It's destroy all creatures. They can't be regenerated.
But Judge?
Right? Or is
Uh,
it? Yeah, I think so. I think it can't be regenerated.
Hello, folks.
Let me go ahead and
My
get
name's
it.
Tyler. What can I help you with?
Yeah. I will.
This Wrath
Yeah, so I'm casting Wrath of
God?
God.
Oh.
Would
So-
you be able to get the Oracle text?
It's not about the Oracle text. It's like altars can't be like that. According to the rules, you're not allowed to have altars like that in your deck.
Okay. So I'm going to just stop the match right here
Okay.
for 1 second. Let's actually just get the time on the clock here for us. All right. Now, can I ask you, did you have this double checked with the head judge of the event today?
What? You need to check stuff with the head judge? No, I didn't know that. No one told me. I didn't see a sign or anything.
Yes. It is actually best practice for any altars to make sure that you do get them double checked with
Okay.
the head judge of the event.
All right.
We just like to do this just to make sure, you know, that there's no inconsistency of
Yeah.
the altars and things like that.
Yeah,
And-
like you wouldn't want someone to have a marked card. No.
Yeah, exactly. And also to make sure that it does follow Wizards' policy guideline for altars.
Okay.
Which, unfortunately, with this one, it does cover the text of the card.
Okay, but yeah, you can get like Oracle text, right?
That is correct, but we usually like to make sure that the Oracle or the text on the card is not covered.
Okay.
Also with the name and the converted mana cost of
Yeah.
the card. Just because obviously, as judges, we like to try and get over here and give you Oracle text.
Sure.
But obviously, there's a lot of times where we just can't because we are really busy.
Okay.
So then both you and your opponent know what the card does.
Yeah.
I mean, textless cards are illegal, though, right? Like,
Oh, you know what? There is Wrath of God that is textless, isn't there?
Get a cryptic and a lightning bolt.
Oh, yeah. Darn you, rewards players. So I guess I'm gonna time
Sure,
out
time
here
out.
for here. So with altars,
you still
It's-
have to ask that judge.
huh?
You do still have to ask that
Mhm.
judge.
Yeah, I do know that, but
Can't
for
obscure the name or convert mana cost.
Yep.
is that the only two things?
Or massively change the art and cannot obstruct rules text.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
this
I-
one
Rules text
would.
has to be perfect.
So
Yeah, it can't
this
be like
one
offensive
would.
art.
So this one would be
You have covered
Changing.
rules text in any way, it is not allowed.
okay.
And you've also
But-
Yep.
You actually want me to look this up?
I would feel better if you
Yeah.
Okay.
made that statement.
I know there is a part about changing the depiction of the art.
Yeah, that
Arc
one.
is the
That one
key
was the one
piece.
that. Yeah, I am. So
Arc is the key because like rules text is irrelevant in this case because of textless cards.
Hey, look, I have it pulled up in the MTR right now.
Ooh.
Artistic modifications are acceptable in sanctioned tournaments, provided that the modifications do not make the card art unrecognizable, contain substantial strategic advice, or contain offensive images. Artistic modifications also may not cover or change the mana cost or name of the card.
Okay, so rules text isn't
Then
relevant.
Rules text is not relevant at all. It's all about the artwork.
It's all about the artwork.
Artwork,
Then
mana
But it still
cost,
has to be
name,
clear.
Covering up the mana cost.
name and mana
Yep.
cost.
Larry said you couldn't alter rules text. Tell him to watch this.
You can write down information on a card. Like,
So
rules text is
So I
irrelevant.
wrote
can ask
play against
for
Jund
more.
on here. Is that fine?
Yeah.
I didn't know you just write Jund.
Jund? He's just
so
saying
because
Jund.
I haven't had to deal with an alter before.
Sure.
So with that, so with this then, that
You have to get the head judge to wait.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Do you have a head judge?
yeah. So then I have to go get my head judge then with that. So
Sure.
So I'm gonna time back in.
Yep.
So, all right, folks. I am gonna get my head judge just
Awesome.
to get clarification on this altar for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me go get him, and I'll be right back.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't know that was a thing, so
Yeah.
thank you.
No, that's okay.
Microphone.
Microphone. so I have a player that has a wonderfully altered Wrath of God.
Oh, is it that altar that looks like Goku doing the Super Spirit Bomb?
It is.
That's awesome. I love that one.
It's the one that we've heard about all day long.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, though, with talking to the player, he did not bring that to your attention at the beginning of the event.
Yeah, I don't remember any player talking to me about that today.
Yeah, so unfortunately, we're going to have you come on over and inspect that card
Fantastic.
and see if it is approved.
Okay, hi, I'm the head judge. My name is Mike. I see that we have an altered card here,
Yep.
and this is the card in question here,
Yeah,
Matt.
go ahead.
Excellent, wonderful. So, unfortunately, with altered cards, they do have to be pre-approved, and they cannot cover up the artwork on the card. And of course, you don't have the text is still showing, and the converted mana cost is still showing. Those two need to be seeable as well, and we can clearly see that. But unfortunately, you cannot obscure the art on the card either. So this is actually an unacceptable alter. On top of the fact that you couldn't, you did not clear it with the head judge prior to the tournament. So unfortunately, we're going to have to give you a game loss for this. I actually, timeout, I have no idea.
When you said it, I was right.
He's so
confident.
No, I don't know
What's the
OCR at all.
what is the penalty?
I don't know what
is
penalty
the infraction?
yeah, right. That's what I don't know.
I think
I could-
what we're currently at, it might be a deck problem.
Yeah.
Just because this deck has a card in it that's
Everybody in
not
the deck
legal.
check room.
But you might also want to see how it looks in his deck.
Yeah, because it could
Yeah.
be considered to be marked cards.
Yep.
I think he has a reasonable amount of time to find a replacement for it. Is how it's supposed to be done.
What's the official infraction?
You might want to ask him also.
You have to.
I think it's a deck
find
problem.
first.
He has a 59 card deck with an illegal Wrath of God being like its 60th card. Like his deck isn't legal because there's something in there that's not a legal Magic card for the event.
Right.
Like I think it's deck problem as far as I can tell, which is a warning with potential upgrade.
How many of those?
I'm inclined to say no penalty if he can acquire a replacement in a very timely manner.
Yeah.
Would you not still give the warning because of the fact that it like wasn't looked at?
I would, if he can get a replacement in a timely manner,
As long
I
as you
would
don't
go
think marked
no
cards
more,
are-
no penalty.
You're not gonna check
and a
it?
time extension.
Well, I'm saying as long as it's not marked cards, it's probably
If it's not marked.
We're not
cards.
gonna check it.
If it is marked cards, it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
And it has to generally be after presented.
Yeah.
If you have presented the deck and like if you realize, oh wait, I presented 59 cards. There's a lot
And
of
if you
concerns
cannot
there.
find a replacement, then yeah, we're gonna.
So wouldn't that just be
swap
in the
them
authorized
basically
cards
into
in
off your deck list.
TR then?
Now we have a deck
What's in the
list
TR?
problem because I'm
The
altering
TR
your deck
doesn't
list
count.
and that's a game loss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, from what it's reading, it
That's
doesn't
a
look like there would be a penalty
Yeah.
if it's not to be considered to be a
Everybody has
marked
a right to-
card when it's
It
going
can still
through.
be a deck problem.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
So, but in this situation, would you just address this card and bank on him not having 4 altered Wrath of Gods in his deck?
No.
Well, if you're gonna fix it, you're gonna fix the whole deck.
Yeah, yeah, you have to fix
Yeah.
it. Yeah, you actually go
The
through
thing is,
whole
like,
thing.
if you look at deck problem and say, hey, he's playing with a card he probably shouldn't be,
Yeah.
even though it was possibly a legal Magic card at some point before it was altered, yes, we should replace it. And if he's playing multiples of them, yeah, we should replace them.
Yeah, you
And
want to replace everything at once.
there's only 3 upgrades to deck problems. It's, do you have this card in your sideboard in your main deck that's resulting in multiples? Probably not, or maybe. Find that out. It would become visible to an opponent, which it did, but it's not really a sideboard card or anything like that. Or sideboard's discovered to be incorrect when presented. Like, simplified, of course. So I
So what's the time frame you have to replace? Like,
I'd give him a few minutes.
a reasonable time frame.
Yeah.
10 minutes is
How
the
long
line.
would it take to run to a vendor? Buy
Yeah.
something?
Yeah.
I would also probably send a judge with the person to a vendor, or if they have a friend nearby that they can grab a card from. Anything, just get something going.
Sure. Keep the event rolling.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
If I
We
recall
don't want,
correctly,
like,
the
a
lion
20-something
policy is
set
10
bonus.
minutes.
So
Yeah.
Patrick,
Yeah.
you're saying
Ten
deck
seconds.
problem, warning, no upgrade.
I wouldn't upgrade, no.
But you're okay with the warning.
I'm okay with warning, yeah.
Okay.
It's trackable, because then if he decides to play it, put it back in his deck later.
That's true.
Then we go
Yeah,
and say,
that's true.
excuse me, sir.
Then we're having a much different conversation.
Yes, we are. Because now you've ignored the...
Yeah. Also, before you check the deck, make sure you, depending on whether it's modern or not, or something before standard, ask them if they know, well, now that we have scries in standard too, ask them if they know the location of any of the other cards. Stuff on
Yeah,
the bottom,
yeah.
stuff on top.
Yeah.
Is one of these cards. Then we're going to have to move and change before we go.
Sure. At this point, like if he's gonna go get a replacement for his altar, am I actually going to check his entire deck right here, right now?
Well, you should probably ask him.
Not
Say,
in front of
yeah.
his opponent.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
You're
I
right.
mean, you're always able to check it. I mean, I would, as I said, go to his side of the table, thumb through it. You don't have to change the order of anything, so you're
Yeah.
technically preserving the deck.
Yeah.
And then if you do have to put something else in there, then you can see, did he scry, and then change the randomized portion of the deck to reflect what's supposed to be there.
Sure. Okay. Time in. All right.
I'm
So
only taking these cards out because they're not modern legal, as this is a commander deck.
okay, I'm assuming that this is out of context and you're not
100%
playing
out of
as a player.
context. There we go.
So I'm going to pull you
Think
aside for
that's
just a moment. I have a
modern
couple
legal.
questions to ask you.
Sure.
So now I'm going to pull you aside and we're going to have this
We're
conversation
assigned.
separately. You have an Altered Wrath of God.
I do.
We're going to give you a reasonable amount of time to replace it. You have at the most 10 minutes to replace it, but I need to ask you if you have any other altered cards within your deck because it will all need to be replaced.
I don't think so.
Okay, do you mind if I look? If
Yeah,
I take
go
a look at
ahead.
your deck? Are there any known cards in this?
No, I have not scried or anything.
Okay, I walk back to the table and ask his opponent. Are there any known cards to you in order in his deck?
No.
Okay, just to clarify with both players. Then look through the deck, out of vision of both the players. Make sure that that is accurate and correct, and then back into the character. You have up to 10 minutes to get a replacement for this card. If you cannot find one, we will replace it with a basic land.
Okay.
Are we not
Yeah, that's fine.
checking the card in the deck? Wouldn't you want to see if it's a marked cards thing? Like, rules wise, isn't that what you do?
Renee, are you in or out of character?
Yeah, I am in character.
Okay.
In character.
Yeah.
So like, what do you mean? Like checking that particular card versus like
Isn't there a marked cards thing? Like,
Yes.
can you see it maybe if it's in the deck?
Yes, probably.
Time out?
Yeah.
All right, time out.
Because again, like I'm not.
I was in character.
Yes, I figured.
Sure.
Again, I'm not entirely like. Would you actually take the card and like put it in the deck?
I would. Yeah. So if you do
It goes
that,
all the way to the edges.
yeah, don't like shuffle up the deck because though it's in a random order, you'd want to keep it
Yeah,
as
you want to
consistent as you
preserve the
can. And this is something you could do without randomizing that deck.
Because you know what the card is.
Yeah. So I put the Wrath of God. You checked. It's the only altered card, so you know which one it is.
So you can feel the thickness of the card versus like another card in his deck.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, if it's painted thickly enough, then the sleeve
Yeah.
black.
Well, yeah. Well, sometimes there's certain detail art on it that you can see where it's popped up a little bit in some spots versus others.
You know the drop test?
Yeah, I was about to show you
No.
the drop test.
Wait,
yeah.
what? Someone
Yeah.
show them the drop
Yeah,
test.
let me see real
That's
quick.
great.
So there's a couple
I
things.
can't see
This works really good with foils too, especially when you have a foil that sticks out. So if you take it about this high and just drop it, see where it cut?
See it.
Not this card, but this card. It's not a Wrath of God, you're fine. Unless. Oh, look,
Oh no, that's
Yeah.
Magic.
okay. Dark magic.
Can I shuffle your deck since it doesn't actually?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Cool.
Now we're gonna try it again.
So we did this at Atlanta, and it's humid in
I
Atlanta.
learned something today.
So KCI plays Darksteel Citadels. He had 9th edition Citadels. I could cut to literally every single, all 4 of them only. It wasn't good. So it's gonna be one of these spots here. Probably not here, but that was a promo.
Try the
And-
card.
oh! What do you know?
What sorcery is this?
Science. I see a lot of judges also just put it sideways in their hand because you'll have players that shuffle like this and they'll kind of do where it's kind of slightly open and you'll notice it right about there. Come on.
You can do it.
There it is. Oh, that's a Day of Judgment. Huh.
But if I may, I do know this deck well enough. If the deck, let's see, where is it? Here.
Welcome to Mark Cards the Workshop.
Yeah, this is fun.
It's helpful for me, so.
Yes. No, like,
Yeah, even when you were holding it like this, always make sure you set it down on the table.
Can you see blue?
Because if you set it down
Yes,
on the table,
just very faintly.
Yeah.
I mean, especially more when I go down a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Director.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can
see?
look at them here, but
yeah.
sometimes when you're holding them, you're pushing them one way or the other. If you stack it and just set it down on the table and go,
Yeah, so now it's on
that
top.
looks different.
Oh, it's on top.
Yep.
and
The whole
Especially anything from the vault, any foils like that.
From the vault,
From the
curves.
vault,
Yeah.
anything.
From the vault, older foils in general.
Yeah, older foils in general. You can literally just set it down. If you just set the deck, if you squeeze the deck just a little bit and set it down, it'll right there where everyone.
It'll be very
Yeah.
obvious.
Yeah, it's.
I have attempted to iron my Tezzeret, the little bastard won't stop doing this.
You know, and sometimes you'll find that like someone has the entire deck foiled, and every like 1 in 7 you might be able to hit the same card. Not really a pattern.
No.
Actually, the new inner sleeves the hard inner sleeves really help with that.
Casey, I had those, and I still was able to get to those 4 cards.
So
They were like,
are we finding that that's probably a March card?
Time in.
time in.
So unfortunately, due to our testing, this card is also a March card.
Beat you dibs.
We can replicate
Okay.
finding it in your deck, and so unfortunately, hyperspeed timeout. I don't know the rules. The infraction for that time in, I'm going
Do
to
you
have
have
to give
fun
you.
with an app?
Yes.
Look it up.
Actually, I don't know if I have the right app on here.
Also,
Here, I've
You
got
have
my
fun.
people.
Does your floor judge?
I did want to say one thing earlier. You told him that if he had any altars in his deck, that he'd have to pull those out too. Not necessarily.
Yeah, you just make
Like
sure
you're the head judge. You can authorize them.
There you go.
Yeah.
Like he can't have any like that that are completely covered.
Yeah.
But if he had like,
To be fair, that almost looks like Ratzagon. It almost does.
if he had
Totally.
Fetch land, just like the edges modified or something.
Yeah, like full art extensions.
Yeah.
Due to the fact that it is a marked card, we're going to have to issue you a warning. So
Okay.
you have 10 minutes to replace it,
Okay.
and I'm going to for it being an altar, and I'm going to give you a warning for it being a marked card.
Okay. Wrath of God might not see a whole lot of play in certain decks, so vendor might not have it.
Sure. If you cannot find a
What
reasonable
if-
replacement within the time frame, we're going to have to replace it with a basic land.
Okay, just anyone.
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, now.
I mean, you should. I'm okay with it.
Your choice.
Okay, so like, in that case, do I get, like, is it still on the stack?
Holy crap.
No.
We replace it with basic land. Mountain resolves.
You are not Stephen Green. You cannot cast Forest.
No. Alright, so quick timeout.
My
Does
life
anyone
is a
have any
lie.
problems with the ruling? Hey, Carl, what you
Yeah,
got?
it absolutely should be upgraded to a game loss. So there's an upgrade policy inside of March cards. I pulled it up because I've had to give this. Which is
In
a
fact,
lot
in
of
this
fun.
case, there's 2 upgrades that both apply.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bottom one's the easiest one.
I think one of them definitely applies. The other one is questionable.
What's the other one? I have him looking at the bottom.
All
We
right, so
were
here we go.
replacing it with a land.
As the deck list is
No, he's looking at the.
Let's
currently
let Carl
If
speak.
you need to replace it with a basic land, then you have to give them a game loss. That's if the player's unable to find replacements. They can replace those with any combination of yada yada yada. As deck list is being changed to match the new contents, you give them a game loss. The change can be reverted at a later point if they can find the marked cards. If they can find the replacement. Here's the important one
That
that's
updated.
definitely applying.
Well, I know
here.
that because of you.
If the head judge believes that a deck's owner, noticing the pattern of markings, would be able to gain substantial advantage from this knowledge. So an example of marked cards where you don't gain that advantage is when someone has like a random half of their deck is in smoke perfect fits and a random half is not. So like they're marked, but they have no way of tracking anything.
Discernible
When
map.
only Wrath
Without
of God
missing it.
is very trackable, and it's
Yeah.
a really impactful magic card,
Yeah.
that's really easy to gain an advantage from if they're trying to do it.
Nelson.
Related to that comment on the deck list change, the reversion has been there's a extra piece that comes to that. Anytime the deck list is changed, applies a game loss.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That was the most,
I
most
just-
recent change.
Your
The most
deck is
recent
not
change to
like
policy
that.
with core.
Oh, really?
Including
Anytime
if
a
he-
deck list is changed, is a game loss.
Including if
Changing it
he
back to
couldn't
its
find
own-
a Wrath of
If
God.
you could
it had
not find a Wrath of
yes,
God, replace
that
with a
was
basic.
very-
That is game loss number 1. If you find a Wrath of God later, changing the deck list again is another game
So you
loss.
might give him 2 game loss penalties
When did
here
that change?
if it goes really badly.
Right, so we
He said core
we are
19.
looking through the deck to make sure there are no other marked and or altered cards. We have done that.
If he
It's the-
can't find a Wrath, he gets an extra game loss, but he's already getting 1 for that being marked and easy to
Right,
If
but
he
if he had
finds
4 of
a
them-
Wrath later, if he finds a Wrath after the 10 minutes and he gets turned to a basic, that is the first game loss. That total is the first game loss with the marked cards upgrade. That's part of marked cards upgrade. If I remember that correctly.
Well, the other marked
So,
cards upgrade
yeah,
are
the
referring to
change-
substantial advantage.
You only apply 1.
I was about to
No,
say.
that's what I'm
It's
saying.
2 upgrade
He's
pads, you apply
getting-
1.
Oh, you only get to apply 1 of the 2?
Yeah.
Do you apply whichever one comes first?
It's marked cards, marked cards, marked cards.
We only
Yeah.
apply 1 penalty per.
Yeah, but I'm saying which of the
Per
2? If
infraction.
Well, you're
both.
applying marked cards upgrade. Marked cards pattern upgrade.
Okay.
So then with applying the deck list upgrade,
That happens later.
so
If you happen to have
so there's 2
As the
scenarios.
deck list is being
There's one where
changed
you
to match
they say
the new
this card
context.
is literally
Nice.
irreplaceable. There's no one else who will have it. They change the deck list right then and there. Is that game loss applied in sequence, or is it game loss and we move on? Game loss, alter the deck list.
Let's
move
look at
on.
the,
They're only getting 1
change to
penalty.
policy.
So
Yeah.
it'll just be game loss, move on. And the other game loss doesn't apply.
If they find, if they happen to somehow find another one later,
Yeah.
they get a game loss at that.
Right.
point.
Yes.
Yeah.
At the point you are altering the deck from the deck list is when you will get it.
Right.
If it happens to be
Okay,
at the same
so
time, then we're good.
if you can't find a Wrath of God in 10 minutes, we replace it with a basic, he loses this game, and they shuffle and play it.
If he can, he's still getting a game loss for that being something that he,
Yeah,
he
for
can gain
being
substantial
a
advantage
mark.
for.
So no matter
It's-
what, he gets a game.
Yeah, right.
Either way, they're shuffling up.
Yes.
Also,
Yeah,
specifically
which
of
poison-
note is card named Plains, Island, Swamp, Mountain, or Forest.
Yeah, not
Has to be one of
wait.
those.
Cannot be snow covered.
I did see that.
Yep. Okay. Cool. So that was fun.
What's our time on that?
Excellent.
I took your pauses out. We were at 7:40.
Okay.
There's a lot of discussion around it though, so really we were probably at like 25 minutes.
I did want to bring something up that also.
Well, like this was something you want to clarify.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring something up that was something that was brought up to me recently as well while I was on a team doing deck checks at Atlanta again. A lot of stuff at Atlanta. It was great. So
How about that airport?
I had no problems with the Atlanta airport. It was great. Anyway, nevertheless, some head judges believe a single card can be a pattern, and some head judges do not. So you might run into that into the wild. Yeah, you know, we can talk about it.
No, I was gonna say, is this judgment Larry?
Anyway, no. So whenever you are dealing with another head judge, or if you are the head judge, it's some interpretation because it doesn't actually come out and say a pattern. It can be 1 card in the MTR, but in my opinion, this is pretty obvious. He can gain advantage from this. Goes, I really need to cut to that thing.
Yeah.
Bam. So I agree that this should be a game loss. I had something very similar to this that ended up not being a game loss in someone's event because they said it's a single card, it's not a pattern.
Yeah.
So
And
be prepared.
Yeah, with that,
So it was a little bit different. The situation was, guy was playing Burn. It's his first big event. It's day 2 in Classic. So he didn't do so hot day 1, but he went 6-3. First means the first event. Pretty good. Was playing against Jeskai Control. Had a Rest in Peace upside down in his sleeve. And the Rest in Peace was correctly facing up with the rest of the other cards in his deck. So his one sleeve was upside down. So when it was sitting in front of you, you could easily see it.
And you said that was not a game loss?
I wanted to give him a game loss. I was told that we were going to fix it and move on because upon investigation, I'm sorry. No, game loss was still game. It was still a game loss. I thought the guy was cheating. I was told that based upon his interactions, he was not cheating. They didn't think he was cheating, please, because he seemed confused.
Yeah, so another thing that I would like to bring up about marked cards and the ruling of the upgrade path is if the head judge believes that a deck's owner noticing the pattern of markings would be able to gain substantial advantage.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what he.
That was the one I showed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that I have to be gaining an advantage at this point.
It means you could.
It means that the possibility
The
exists.
fact that card is named Wrath of God and destroys all creatures, it
and
could gain you
whether
advantage.
I'm aware of this or not.
Right.
Yep.
If you
So
give it to
always
someone
keep
who's
that
a
in mind.
master of sleight of hand, will they actually find the advantage?
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Answer is yes. You're decent at it.
Yeah.
Don't
so,
cheat, kids.
No.
Don't do that.
Makes life so much easier when you don't cheat.
So, at that point, it is 4:52.
As far as feedback for these two.
Yeah, let's go ahead and hit some feedback.
Well,
I have lots of.
Well, to be honest, you handled it very well. You made sure that even though the player was going to get a game on, we were dealing with marked cards, we were dealing with a lot of stuff.
My card's
The
a rules
players
lawyer.
never
My card's a
saw
rules
you
lawyer.
as an
I'm a
adversary.
competitive rules lawyer. I would
They were always,
absolutely
yeah,
tell
sure,
you.
no, that makes total sense. You presented it in a way that they totally understood and were like I said, there was no adversarial, feel to your rulings.
Yeah.
But you still made it feel like, okay, this is what we're doing, and this is why we're doing it. But you never made them feel like you were bringing a hammer down and kicking them across the street.
I'm just the rules arbiter. I'm just here to administrate the game.
Right. And that was very good. I thought that was awesome.
I would like to agree with that comment as well. You at no point in there did I think that your interaction with the players was bad. You timed out at just the right points, and you were very forthcoming in your timeouts of like, hi, I don't know what the heck is going on here. Please help.
I'm
Like,
great with people, and not so much with remembering all of the rules.
and like that'll come with time. Like that'll just you'll get used to it. I mean, never be afraid to like look at your phone and stuff like that. Just don't take that long. Like I thought your interaction was very good. I thought that once you actually like had all of the information that you needed, you issued the correct ruling. Trying to remember any feedback for you. You were very good in your judge call. I saw no issues. You did tend to trail on a little bit, but that's more of a personal thing, not a actual like you need to change this.
Awesome. Aaron, you'll be next. I just have one quick thing. You said we're gonna mark down time on clock.
Yes.
That was great.
Yes.
I still struggle with that. That's probably my biggest criticism I have for myself as a judge is I do not look at the clock.
That's
I'm
the
just
one
like,
thing that
this was about 6 minutes.
There's a
trying to
clock.
get your skills into me.
Yeah, that was great.
I said it.
Aaron,
Stopwatch.
So, in scenarios like this, you may believe that you want to get up there in front of everybody and nail it.
Oh, I knew I wasn't going to.
And I just want to remind you, you're going to learn more by feeling your way through it with the help of everybody. I think everybody in the room learned a whole lot in that scenario.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to thank you for being super positive out of character and just rolling with it, being like, holy moly, this is out of left field. We're going to learn something, gang. Instead of feeling like I messed up because you didn't mess up. This is a role play for learning, and I wanted to thank you for your attitude.
You're welcome. When my sister was in doctor school, she told me something really interesting. She was like, I ask questions all the time in class because if I don't know the answer, somebody else probably doesn't know the answer either.
Yup.
So
absolutely.
I felt that for a long
You
time.
learn more by that than you would by nailing the scenario.
So one great thing, obviously you were the head judge in the situation, and you were the not head judge. But when you get out there on the floor, like I have no problem ever telling a player, hey, I'm going to talk with another judge because I want this to be like 100% correct. I don't want to just take a stab at it. Like, and I know, I just confirm, right? I want to make 99% sure, but want to make sure it's completely correct, because that way it makes them feel like they're important enough to, like, even if they're the last table, say, hey, we're going to get this right. That way, your tournament's going to go correctly. We're not basing something off, an incorrect ruling or whatnot.
And Spencer.
One note, you did say when you approached them that he didn't approve it with you, so that was the thing that you're going to be getting a warning for, or whatever for. That's not actually a penalty.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't approve it with you, there's not really anything that you can do. Because if it's good, then it's good. It doesn't need to be approved with you. If it's not good,
So a
then
little
you have
more
other
clarification on that specific.
Yeah.
Because this card is
What I would
altered
say-
against the rules.
What I would
and
say
what-
is, what I would do when I approach the table is like, okay, so here we have an altar that was not approved with me. for future reference, you need to go through all the head judge for all your altars so that we can make sure that they're all good, so that we don't have to deal with any unfortunate situations that may come later. Now I'm going to look at this altar just so we can figure out whether this is going to be a approved altar or if it's going to be something that we're going to have to fix.
So you would say it's okay to approve it there on the spot if everything's fine?
Yeah.
Okay. You are the head judge.
They need to go to you, but if they don't go to you, we don't have anything that we can do to them.
If the altar's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If the altar's not fine, then it would be the same as before. Just there's a penalty involved.
Yeah.
Mike, correct?
Yes.
Tyler, how did you feel about that?
About that scenario, or?
Yeah.
I mean,
We've heard Mike talk a lot.
Yeah, no, that's
not in a bad way either. It was good.
I guess my big thing from there. So, if pretty much the player states that they hadn't spoke to the head judge, it's just me directly going and getting the head judge at that time, or should I double check the altar to see if there's any marked cards, things like that, so then it makes it easier for my head judge when they come, or?
I think you just need to get the head judge no matter what on this.
Yeah.
Because it's up to their final opinion. You can look at it and say, it looks good to me, but it's their tournament, meaning they need to be the one to finally sign off on it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it could be completely fine by you, but he could feel and say, no, this feels just too thick to me, and say, I'm not okay with this.
Yep, because your two paths there, either the altar is approved by the head judge, or marked cards is upgraded by the head judge. You're going to need to get them into the scenario either way.
Okay.
If you're at a larger event, if you're at a small event, chances are the head judge will be there and you can just flag him down and say, hey.
Yeah.
If you're at a larger event, you can get someone else and say, hey, can you sit with these folks for a second? I'm going to go get the head judge. Just make sure that someone is watching the match. Make sure they don't keep playing.
Okay.
But yeah,
I think
Renee.
you did the right thing by kind of checking it out first, though, too. Because if you can just tell the head judge immediately, like, this is definitely a questionable altar, then they're going to have an easier time walking up to the table knowing that they're dealing with one that they're probably not approving.
Yeah.
Versus if you can look at it and see this is something they will probably approve, you can tell them that, so that way they know kind of what they're looking at going in, what they're expected, especially at the larger events. At the smaller events, it's not as big, but at the larger events, letting the head judge know what they're walking into is a good thing to do.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, something as simple as, hey, live call, marked cards, I think it's fine.
Okay.
Actually,
It is enough.
Fetch lands back when they were in standard and they were expanded borders. And I asked my head judge, I was like, did you approve any altars on my event? Because I was only floor judge at a States, and they were like, no. And I was like, I've got a few over at this table. They don't seem to be super problematic, but do you want to come and take a look at me? It's like, it's on his fetch lands.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing, like Spencer said, when you were talking to them, when you tell them, well, we'd like to have you check, that way we avoid those problems later. Right now, you make them important. Look, we're trying to save you trouble. We're trying to make sure your day goes right. So if you come to me first, I can just go, yeah, sure, these are okay. Or I could have told you an hour before you turned in your deck list.
Alter Red the God. It looks great. You can't play this.
Yeah. The new one,
You can't play this.
yeah, it makes them feel like you're looking out for them.
Yeah.
Right. They're like, oh yeah, he's saving me time. Well, I'll just tell my, and then you get those players to tell other players, well, that head judge was great, man. I didn't know I needed to come see the head judge about altars, and then maybe one of their friends like, well, I got a whole stack of altars. I got to go see the head judge. You know, it solves other players' problems down the road by this player having a good experience.
Yeah.
Cigar artwork, not approved.
I approve it.
Head judge approved.
The judge doesn't approve it.
Yeah, awesome. Any other feedback?
Awesome.
Say we have hit our clock, so thank you so much for joining us.